snap instead of a clap? You guys like the snap instead of the clap?
I don't know. I like the clap.
You like the clap better?
For some reason, I like the clap.
It's kind of like, like
the clap is more
60s.
like... Yeah, like...
Right, the clap is a little better.
Why is that the 60s?
Like
That's the thing. That's instead of clapping.
Were they doing podcasts in the 60s?
Instead of clapping, they did this.
Really?
Yeah, in the 60s, that was a big thing. Like, that was the cool thing.
As opposed to...
Right, they did this. It was cooler.
Yes.
Seriously, in the 60s.
I think you need to have a bowl cut and do.
No,
There is
You're not wrong.
a house.
All right.
In New Orleans. Anyway, okay. No, we don't have to do the clap.
Yeah, okay, just one clap is good.
So we're doing the finishing of the episode.
So
Thank you for everyone that has listened through this long.
Including claps?
Including the claps.
Yeah,
we have finished our glasses.
Sure.
And we're going to try and do a little bit of a finishing the bottle episode.
We'll give it a shot.
What do you want to talk about?
We'll give it a shot. We're wrapping up the whole aliens and the bourbon, which is beer barrel finishing over Jefferson's.
So, okay, so let's go back to the idea of you're at a Binny's and you see these two.
They don't know what. Not everybody's from Illinois.
You're at a liquor store.
Thank you.
Midwest.
And you see these two.
Yeah, maybe Midwest.
On the shelf.
Indiana for sure.
Which one would you pick based on your
Bottle.
Has everybody had? This is sort of important.
We can kind of go based off of.
No,
I know nothing about either.
Yeah, okay. Dragon's Milk. If you've had Dragon's Milk Stout, you know New Holland beer. New Holland Dragon's Milk is
Versus
one of the
Old
most
Holland.
popular, if not the most popular stout ever made.
with Nout taken out.
They're in Michigan. They doubled their production and they tripled their facility to be able to make more Dragon's Milk.
Yeah.
Dragon's Milk is a stout beer that is finished in bourbon barrels. One of the first people to do that, actually. The thing is, after they finished that beer in the bourbon barrels, they said, well, now we got these barrels. If we put bourbon back into them, we'll get some of that stoutness out of
See what happens.
the wood. See what it does. And it turned out to be a pretty fucking good product. So we have beer, barrel, bourbon, because it's a beer in a bourbon barrel that's turned back into a bourbon. I'm stumbling over that, but
do you remember what
the
the age of that is?
age of that is, I believe,
I think
4
we
to
said
8.
4 to 6.
4 to 6?
Yeah, I want to
Yeah,
say 4 to 6.
4 to 8 seems like a big range.
Yeah, it's the funny thing is they're not shy about the fact that, hey, we used our beer barrels to make this bourbon, right? And
Well, they literally put it in the name.
I get that. That's what I was leaning towards. But the funny thing is I mean, Jefferson's, I don't hate it. Like, I just wish some of these were more like, ew, great. You know what I mean? It's hard to go, this one's a little bit better than the, you know what I mean? Like, that's hard for me.
I think I think ultimately we've probably said it multiple times in multiple episodes. I think we were all so taken aback by how great Voyage 24 was.
Yeah.
Of
Jefferson's.
Yeah.
That we have kind of created this like mythos of, well, anything Jefferson must be good. And in reality, whilst there have been other voyages that have been okay, nothing has really hit that same level as Voyage 24.
We've tried. We had the beer.
We've
the,
tried 25,
the bourbon, barrel
28,
strength,
I think
barrel
27
strength,
and 28, right?
Right.
and barrel strength.
Yeah.
We tried barrel strength of 24, I believe.
Right.
Right.
Well,
Didn't do it.
and off camera, Logan made
I've got it back there. I've got it. We can see.
Logan made a point of saying it's like he saw it at a local liquor store. That
Now up to 80
They're now
something?
charging $80
For the 24.
And to that point, So the bottle we had was bought at what?
Costco, and we paid $45 for it.
And I bought a bottle knowing it was becoming scarce, bought another bottle of it to have as a backup, and that was 60 something.
Yep.
65,
Probably 60,
64.
Probably 68 is what I've seen it as.
I've seen I got it lower
Normal.
than 68 for sure, but still 60s.
Yep.
So
It's becoming scarce if
because
you
there's
can.
only so many bottles of that voyage.
It makes sense.
By the
But
time
I-
it comes down to one, it's going to be in the thousands.
But I think the interesting conversation
Easily.
is, and we talked about it a little bit off camera. Do you think it's one of the things where really they've realized that for whatever reason, 24 was the sweet spot?
They didn't realize that. I think it just after a while when they tried all these different voyages, they realized that nothing else
4 or
could
5
match
past
up.
now, yeah.
I don't think they said that was the sweet spot. They don't know what this. Who knows what the sweet
All the
spot
different, all the
is.
voyages have been pretty different areas,
They've-
right?
Well, and I
They-
think
and-
to be honest, they've done that purposely. And it's like because they haven't shined away from the fact that hey, this one has gone through Cuba, this one's gone through wherever else. In other words, it's like I think they are purposely trying
Agreed.
different things.
Totally agree.
Because something's gonna stick.
Totally agree. But then they found out that everybody loved Voyage 24, and nobody loved Voyage 28, 27.
So I think the thing that is interesting about the $80 bottle is, kind of again, off camera, we've talked about the price of Pappy and things like that. How at the end of the day, it's not Buffalo Trace that is selling Pappy at like $1,000.
They don't get the money for that.
Right.
It's the aftermarket.
The
that
same
gets the
thing.
money for
This
that.
$80 bottle, is that because the particular liquor store that you saw that at
Yeah,
is,
okay.
is saying, well, the industry is saying that 24 is where it's at.
But there's something to the benefit to the companies. So if they're selling Pappy Van Winkle and the secondary market really gets the money and they don't, they still get the money for being the rarest whiskey, the most sought after whiskey in the industry.
Right. Well, and also to that point, I
Do you
think
think, do you think they'll have
they
like a 29 that goes back in that area? Then?
well,
Of Pappy?
No, of Jefferson's.
I
Sorry.
definitely think they're going to try. I
They're gonna
definitely
have to.
think they're going to try.
Yeah.
Because they've only got so much of that bourbon. Once that's gone, they need more money.
Yeah.
They're going to
I wouldn't
go
doubt
back
they're
to
already
Jamaica's.
doing it, right?
well,
At this
sure,
point.
Maybe.
but because
maybe.
by very nature of the aging process of it, they at the end of the day, they probably have worked out what the sales numbers are for the
but it's
different
beyond that.
voyages.
So they have to predict the weather, predict the time of year they
Yes.
go out.
It's not just the
Yeah, but
fact
they
that
should have
They're
that
trying to
data
match.
previously,
I
right?
agree.
Right, but
I
You could say
agree.
we left August 1st and we
But
came
if they're
back
smart,
August
they're going to match
26th.
that voyage.
but
Yeah.
it's Mother Nature, right?
I was just saying,
Right.
but what if you got an El Nino and now it
You-
was more?
You can't predict that.
Yeah. Now does that? But that's where I feel like they were smart that they could call it Voyage 29. But guess what? It was the same area, but it's a
Right.
different voyage.
And they're
now,
not going to. They can't ever call it Voyage 24 anymore.
Yeah.
No.
So now you're telling me I need to go
So-
out and buy this. Son of a bitch.
If
I
they
already
go-
have one of the 24, and I got it for I think it was $60. I
I-
would say it was like 62 at the point when I bought it. But just the fact that I saw that it was 79, I was like, holy shit.
So
it is.
here's the thing. Unlike a certain other bourbon that was a 10-year bourbon that we were told was no longer going to be made, you better buy it up now because it'll be scarce. And it's a good bourbon. It won our taste tests in previous episodes. We bought the shit out of it. And guess what? It's still available everywhere.
I was
But
at
isn't it going up though? I thought we.
Yeah, but slightly. Just
Yeah, I-
inflation price, though.
I was
right?
at Mariano's the other day, and I think it was like $44.
See, I can see finding it for less than 40 still. But the point is, it's a great bourbon for the price. Buy it up while you can. Now, you got Jefferson's 24, Voyage 24. It's an excellent, excellent, excellent bourbon. There can never be another Voyage 24.
Yeah.
No matter what you try to do, you will never find the same conditions to produce
No.
that same flavor profile. Buy it up while you can.
Yep.
$60, $80. Yeah, okay, it
If
might
in
be
5
worth
years
that.
it's worth $100, $200, $300.
So you keep buying the bottles and saving them. yeah, it'll be worth a couple
But
thousand.
I think back to the original point of the conversation. It's like at the end of the day, what it shows you is that simply the Jefferson name doesn't mean
Correct.
that you're going to have a good bourbon.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Totally. And that's the problem.
Right.
That's
Is it
the
a
problem.
though? That's. I don't think it's a problem per se. Because now
It's a problem for them.
I
look at.
I
But case in
agree.
point is like what we saw earlier. Buffalo Trace.
I agree.
Buffalo
There you
Trace.
go. See? See how I
Yeah,
did?
shut it. Buffalo Trace has a name attached to it.
Yeah.
But look, it got beat by Jack Daniels, right?
Okay,
Buffalo Trace as a
okay,
distillery
okay.
has a name, to uphold, and
All right.
yet we.
I'm listening. You have my
we put
attention.
Something above that.
Okay.
But again, to that point, Jefferson is a name that we would I say never. We probably wouldn't have heard of.
I had never heard of until we tried 24.
I'm the same way. It's like, and again, it was a crazy random happenstance that my son happened to go into Costco and saw this thing and said, "Hey, they have a roadshow for this thing. It's only $45. Do you want to buy some?" I'm like, "Sure, buy me a bottle." You know, and I brought it over here and we tried it. And we're like, "Oh my god, it was amazing."
I wanted to just finish that fucking bottle.
You know,
Because I've heard of Jefferson before that, and the Voyage thing was a thing I've heard about that's being a gimmick. And I never paid much attention to it because I'm like, it's a gimmick. But then we tried a bottle.
well, and I think the thing that's interesting, like we were texting the other day, the Lagavulin Nick Offerman voyage.
I really am curious.
So-
I'm
so-
a little nervous.
I am too, and I wonder whether, like, I don't know what came first. You know, in other words, it's like
Chicken or the egg?
well, right.
The Nick Offerman of the Lagavulin?
Well, no.
Oh.
In other words, it's like, was Jefferson the first company that tried to do a like, hey, let's stick some barrels on a ship
As far as I know, yes.
I was going to say,
Okay.
well, there may have been others that tried it, but just
Right.
didn't come out and say.
Right,
Like,
right. That's the problem. Is Jefferson had a little bit more money behind it to announce something like that. Maybe somebody else tried it and they kept. I don't know, but from my knowledge, the first company to do the voyage and test it out in the oceans of the saltwater was Jefferson.
So yeah, so I'm intrigued. I pre-ordered a bottle, by the way, and so you know it'll be interesting to see how that turns out.
I buy. I buy everything that has Nick Offerman's name
Well,
on it.
and sorry, I just hit the microphone. And to be honest, it's like because I know you did,
Yeah.
I bought that, you know, so that we can try it.
Yeah.
Just because I'm intrigued.
But
I'm
to
intrigued.
be fair, my favorite Scotch is Lagavulin. Nick Offerman's favorite Scotch is Lagavulin. He got connected to Lagavulin to come out and try some stuff, like the Lagavulin aged in Guinness casks.
Right.
Loved it.
I watched a YouTube, and I should link him in here.
It'll never be linked because I'm doing the editing and I'll never remember that.
We don't know.
But so, and he was talking about, you know, he's like, for whatever reason, the 11-year Lagavulin is like the sweet spot.
Because 8-year failed.
Right.
8-year Lagavulin it sucks. I love Lagavulin, but 8-year Lagavulin is not a good Lagavulin. It's way too hot. It needs to be aged 16 years. But the 11-year, it still passes.
Right. And so what he was saying was, he goes, so like that 11-year is what they've kind of, you know, obviously they've released a regular 11-year,
Yep.
but they've also used that 11-year as some of these like, more experimental.
Sure. Honestly,
kind of
because
thing.
think about it. They did this before that was aged, right? They did this where they said, well, let's experiment and do this and this and this. And they really wrote off a few of those bourbon barrels. Because, you know, we're trying something new. We'll try something now, see if it works. If it doesn't work, no big deal. But 8-year didn't work. 16-year, everybody loves. Where's the in-between that will still have the same sort of mellowness that the 16-year has and the flavor profile. And they found out 11-year could be it.
Yeah.
But they didn't know that until they did all these trials,
Sure.
right? Because Nick Offerman's a gimmick,
Right.
right?
Do you think he?
But
I
he-
feel like he's the type though where he's not going to put his name behind something unless he.
Agreed.
legitimately-
Agreed.
But I also think it's like Lagavulin and Nick Offerman are almost like a perfect pairing.
Now.
But just in terms of the fact, it's like
It
you
took
know,
11 years to get there.
let's say
Now.
your average whiskey drinker,
Yeah.
you know, certainly on the American side, is probably going to. I don't know whether Lagavulin is going to be like the name that your average whiskey drinker is going to know about.
Not. I would say not.
And the same thing for Nick Offerman. It's like, you know, people may have heard of Community. Sorry, not Community.
Dude,
Parks and Recs.
He's been in a lot of shit now, though.
But people still don't necessarily know that that's Nick Offerman. They may see Parks and Recs, but they don't necessarily know that that's Nick Offerman.
I think he's probably more popular than you might think.
Okay.
I think, and again, it's sort of a subtle difference.
But I guess I think the point is still valid in terms of the fact that it's like I think they're a perfect pairing. Of the fact
I agree.
Because you know, in terms of the fact that I think they have a certain anonymity is not the right word, but like, you know, it's like they're not in the like average person's zeitgeist. You know, was it like, you know, it like the name Lagavulin, the name Nick Offerman is not necessarily known by like the average person, but the people that know.
I think Nick Offerman is more of a known name than
Lagavulin is. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
But now, do you think though? Did he? Do you feel like it's more of a marketing thing, or do you think?
Of
he
course it's a marketing
hold
thing.
on, no. Or do you think he had some sort of actual input?
No, he did have actual input.
So,
But it's still a marketing thing.
but
Because he's a celebrity.
But-
because if somebody came to me and said, "I want you to back this bourbon," to me, who doesn't know
Well,
a ton about
specifically
it,
it's a Scotch.
I don't know Nick Offerman. Maybe
Specifically
he's
it's
got.
a
that's why
Scotch.
they wouldn't come to him.
But that's what I'm
Right.
saying. If they came to me and
This
said,
is-
"We want you to back this," I'm not just going to go, "Sure." Like,
'Cause-
give me how many zeros are behind those commas.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
I'd
yeah.
say, okay, I got to try this shit. Cause
So-
it's gonna be attached
Let me
to that
explain.
point,
I think I think Lon said the correct thing, which is basically the fact that, you know, Nick Offerman has a following. On that following, he has been very public about the fact that he likes Lagavulin.
He's done
Like,
shows
Even in
about Lagavulin.
even in Parks and Recs, whilst he didn't necessarily, I don't think he necessarily called out Lagavulin
No,
by
he
name.
didn't. He just Scotch.
Like, he talked about the fact that
Because it's not his character, it's
He-
a character.
he's
not his character.
he's a Scotch drinker,
Sure.
and Scotch and steaks.
He's
and
been known to say on talk shows before that he identifies with his character from Parks and Rec because he's so pretty much the exact same fucking character.
Okay.
Right.
He loves Scotch. He loves drinking. He loves, you know, he's very straightforward and pungent.
And so to your point, I think it's one of those things where I don't know what came first. I don't know whether he approached Lagavulin or Lagavulin approached him.
He approached Lagavulin,
Oh, he did.
as far as I know.
But the point is,
I
it's
can
like
tell you what that's from.
I think they would look at it as, you know, his people probably talked to their people and were like, you know, here you have someone that Lagavulin may have a known name within the, like, let's say, higher echelons of Scotch aficionados, and certainly probably more so on the, you know, United Kingdom like side of the pond, as opposed to Nick Offerman has a probably a more known name
In America.
in the US.
Absolutely.
And so, again, perfect pairing.
But like, is it a perfect
So-
pairing though? Or is it more, you know, he likes something. Now, my concern is that, do you think they had something set aside and said, "Here, try this"? What
No.
do you think? Do you
Let me
back-
explain
would you
something.
back this?
Let me explain something. So Nick Offerman did a whole series, web series, YouTube, where he went around to all the different Scotland distilleries.
Sure.
Because he's a huge Scotch fan.
Okay.
And he went around and did interviews with the people who run them and did taste tests and all this other shit. And he never said in that setting what his favorite was. It was more of a documentary.
Sure.
Right? Nick Offerman said, went to Oban, went to all these big distilleries, the big main ones that he's been drinking for his, I don't know for how long. But he's been like, yeah, this one's great because it's got this. And he talks to them and say, oh, yeah, and they got this. And he takes a tour of the distillery and their process and all that stuff. But then, after that, he's like, here's another one of me touring Lagavulin, doing Lagavulin stuff. Here's another one of me sitting in front of a fireplace drinking Lagavulin for 7 hours.
Sure.
Because he's a Lagavulin fan. He never came on and said it because he didn't want to turn around. He's fully on to Lagavulin. That's his favorite whiskey. Because of that, he went to Lagavulin and said, look, I love everything you're doing. Can we do something more?
Right.
And that's when his producers and their marketing department came up with other things that they could do, such as the Nick Offerman finishes, which he did an fired oak finish. He did an 11-year
Yep.
finish. He's doing, what was the next one that he did? Because I own all of them. I have a bottle from all of them. He's a legitimate Lagavulin fan, so he literally contacted them, talked to them about doing it, and they're like, yeah.
Right, because it's a no-lose situation for them. I mean,
Right.
in other words, at the end of the day,
He's a
it's like-
celebrity,
like
they know.
They're always looking for, like, how do we increase our sales?
Sure.
All of those
Doesn't hurt to have a face.
Right. Well, and all those distillers at the end of the day, they have, multiple barrels in every year, moving forward, and so it's like they always have a barrel available, or a group of barrels available from each
group
year.
of barrels, right.
And so yes, it's like again.
Literally, they can designate and say, hey, we've got 1,000 barrels back there. They're at 7 years now. We can release them at 8 or release them at 11. What do you want to do? And they'll work it out.
Or do one of each, right? Or do some of each. So like, hey, we can do 8 to start off, see how well it does, and then do the 11. I
But
get it.
once they make those, like for instance, I bought the Nick Offerman 11-year fire charred barrels. It was wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was good.
I can't buy another bottle. They don't exist anymore. So next time Offerman comes out with something, I'm buying a few bottles.
Sure.
Not telling anybody about one of them. Share one of them, and then stash the other one away.
Right.
To add to the list of stuff that you have.
To add to your stash over there.
I've got too many. Take some home, please.
I don't have a bar yet.
We'll have a day.
Anyway, it's so funny. This has to be finished the bottle, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because we're beyond an hour and a fucking
we
half.
ended where this has just been us.
Yeah, but we don't want to drown out the audience of it just sitting there going. So we should wrap it up.
It's what we do.
It is what
Okay, so is there anything else we want to talk about as it relates
No,
to our
just,
final bracket?
No, I think we're getting into the heavy hitters now, and I think this is going to become
What,
the
did
the
Did
episodes.
we move
being,
on the brackets? We showed.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
already
we already
that.
showed the brackets. I think this is going to become harder, but also maybe not so
Look at your
hard.
watch.
We're in the semifinals.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And give it about another 40 seconds, you'll be at 5 seconds. But I think it's something that we're getting down to the nitty gritty, right?
It's
I mean,
semifinals.
This is something that's we're
Quarterfinals.
quarter. Yeah, there you go. Come on.
Isn't that not the same as the number 4?
No,
Oh,
literally, it's not the same.
What's the semifinals then?
literally.
That would be the final 4.
Yep.
But we don't have a final
We had
four.
a-
We're doing the brackets of 16, so technically, all right. So after this round, it's the final 4. So the beer barrels in the final 4.
Yes, it is.
Right.
we're doing the other Final Fours, and then it'll be the semifinals.
Right.
That would be the finals.
No.
Yeah.
Semi-final.
Quarterfinals,
So-
finals.
Whatever's that is the quarterfinal.
We did our first episode
All right.
of our quarterfinals,
I got you.
and now we're doing our semi-final. So we have
got
to
you.
finish 3 more episodes of quarterfinals,
explain.
And then we'll
and
do
then
the
we have
semifinals.
semifinals.
Thank you, everyone.
and then we have 4 episodes of semifinals.
appreciate
sorry, 2 episodes of semifinals, and then we'll have
I'm just
finals.
gonna end this.
Sports.
We don't watch
Fucking
sports.
shit.
Anyway, thank you, folks, for joining us. That's
Thank you for staying with us with our drunken rants,
debauchery.
Yeah.
debauchery. I don't know.
I mean, we weren't
there wasn't
debaucherous.
a lot of debauchery.
Yeah.
I think
Just
it's
drunkenness.
This was just
Drunkenness.
it was fun. This was fun though. These the fun part of this for me is the fact that like you think, hey, they're under $30. These aren't going to be that great, but some of these have actually
Yeah.
been pretty
Honestly-
good. And I should say a lot more than I thought would be better.
Absolutely.
We're now at that point where really any of these bourbons I'd buy.
Yeah.
Totally.
Oh yeah.
So
Agreed.
even after this, Crown Royal versus Proper 12.
Hey, we'll see what
we'll see how
happens.
that happens. But really, even after that, all the other bourbons I'd buy.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
All right, folks.
Anyway, thank you so much. As always, keep watching our next
Tune in.
episode.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Like, comment,
Do
subscribe.
everything that you normally would do in a YouTube video.
As we've said
or
many times
stuff you
before,
normally wouldn't do.
it's like this format of having the split bourbon and movies, and then the final kind of big episode.
All in one.
Let us know what you think. We think it's working. We think it will work out just by the fact that when we look at our numbers, people typically only watch for like 15, 20 minutes. People have short attention spans.
Just say goodbye.
Yeah.
Really?
He's
Yeah.
trying to explain.
Because you're explaining something they don't
Okay.
know
They
what the
don't
fuck's
care.
going on.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Love you.
Love
Thank
you,
you,
everyone.
folks.
Bye-bye. Get us the fuck out of here. Go.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Be sure to follow us on social media.
How come you got more?
Because you're lame. You don't know what to say.
What are we supposed to do? Like, just like
You like
Logan,
Logan.
time it
I
all
could've been
out.
like, tune into the next
You
one
keep
or something.
screwing it
Yeah,
up.
but
You're gonna knock
Okay,
it
this is
out
like take
airtime.
15. And like I only screwed up like 3 of them. You
Look,
screwed up like
look,
8.
we're just gonna keep this one, okay?
This is the one.
This is
All right.
it.
This
We're
one
done.
right here.
Okay.
Finish
Okay.
it.
Done.
And